Let's talk about method overloading. Let's say we have an already defined method. We create a new method with the same name as the previous method. The only thing we change is either the method signature or the return type of the method, or maybe we change both of them. But we keep the name of the method the same as another method that we have already defined. In that case, we say that the method has been overloaded. So let's look at an example. We already looked at the dog class when we were explaining it in another video. The dog has a few attributes. It has a name, age, color, and breed. This is the constructor because the name of the method is the same as the name of the class, right? After that, we have a couple of more methods, and one of them is bark, the other one is eat. So we can overload any one of these. We can overload any one of these methods, or we can even overload the constructor because the constructor is also a method. So let's overload the constructor. We want to create another constructor with the same name. However, we'll change something related to the method signature or the constructor signature. So how can we do that? Actually, let's just copy it first and see if we define it twice in the same way, what happens. So we copied this, and here now we have two method signatures that are completely the same. And so you see this actually gives us an error. It says that this has already been defined. What has already been defined? A signature that has the name dog and that takes a string input and then an integer input and then a string input and another string input. That exact signature has already been defined. Now we need to change something related to this signature in order to overload this dog constructor. So what we can do is change it in any way possible, right? We can probably change the order in which we take the parameter inputs. So instead of having age at first, we might have age at the very beginning. And you see, that takes care of the error. So this is a different method signature, right? Now we are putting age first and the name second and color third and breed fourth. So that is a change. Or we can have a method signature where we don't even take the age at all. But in that case, we should not have this part either. And so this is another method signature. Now, how is it different and what it is used for? So let's say you want to create a dog, and the first dog you create is Sherlock, right? And the dog's name is Sherlock, its age is 6, color is white, and breed is Labrador. Great. So which signature did you use? You used the first signature. However, we can create another dog with the second signature, and that'll also be a legitimate object. And so you see here, when we define the new dog Watson, we only gave it the name, the color, and the breed. We did not give it the age. So this is actually using the second constructor here. So Java actually understands automatically that you are using a different method. We can look at some other examples of that as well, which will make it a bit more clear. So let's say we have these two methods here, right? So let's actually see what the result of these two methods are when we run them in the main method. How can we access those methods? Remember, these are methods that are in the class, right? So only an object of this class can access these methods. So we first need to think of an object that will access these methods. So let's say we are talking about Sherlock. So we can say Sherlock.eat, right? If we call this method, what happens? Something is printed out and it says dog has eaten, right? So let's see what the result is for this method. So you see, the result is dog has eaten. Great. But what if, let's say, we want to also specify the food that it has eaten? What we can do is that we can keep this method like it is, and we can overload this method with a different method signature. We can write public void eat. And here, you see it's giving me an error because this signature has already been defined. So let's actually have an input here, and that'll be the food. And when we print it out, we'll just add this food's name to the text that we print out. So we can say dog has eaten, a space here, plus food. So the variable food is here. Whatever is stored in there comes here, and that gets printed out. So let's check this out and see whether or not this actually works from the main method. So we'll say Sherlock.eat, and we have to input a string, right? So we might say some meat. Great. So let's see how this works. So you see, it actually says dog has eaten some meat. So you see, we're using the same method here. However, Java understands automatically which signature you're using. Now, we cannot just use any other data type in there. We cannot just say 8. We cannot put an integer in there because Java knows that we have only 2 signatures. One signature does not take anything, and the other signature only takes in strings. So here we gave it an integer and it is giving us an error. And here the error actually says that the required type is string, but we have provided an integer, and that is wrong. So this is overloading, having the same name for a method but different signatures or different return types.